So first, we'll start with wave nature of light. Light travels through space as a wave. It's similar to ocean wave. Okay, and let's say I'm going to try to draw this wave. Okay, and we can say that we define wavelength. So let's define wavelength. It's a distance. Wavelength is distance between two wave peaks or crest. Two consequent wave peak or crest. That's the wavelength. And frequency is, we are going to define frequency also. It's what? Number of the wave travel. Let's say we are selecting this point. Okay, we are selecting this point. In this point, how many number of the waves travels within a 1 second? That's called frequency. Alright, so I'm going to define frequency. Frequency is the number of wave cycles completed or travels through in each second. So light travels at constant speed which is 3.00 times 10 raised to 8 meter per second. That's the light speed. Now we are going to work on frequency and wavelength relationship. So wavelength, let's say if we have longer wavelength of light which lowers frequency. So we'll draw it in the next slide and we'll find out. And if we have shorter wavelength, of light, we have the higher frequency. So I'm going to draw that in the next slide. Let's say we have longer wavelength. This is a longer wavelength, okay? I'm trying to draw it already. Alright, and we have a shorter wavelength. Now when you look at, this is a longer wavelength. This is a shorter. Okay, now let's select this point and about this point. Now at this point, 1 second, how many waves it passed? Let's say this one takes longer to pass through, right? So in 1 second, it travels what? Less, right? Because it's a long wavelength. So it's what? Less frequency? Frequency definition is what? In 1 second, how many waves pass through or completed, right? And because of the longer wavelength, it has a less frequency, right? But if we have shorter wavelength, at this point, in 1 second, how many it passed? It passed through more, right? Because of the shorter wavelength, so it's more frequency. Right? So, wavelength and frequency. They are in indirect relationship. One increase, other decrease. Okay? So they are in indirect relationship. If one increase, other decrease. If one decrease, other increase. So that's wavelength and frequency relationship.